In the days when the world was young, when the gods still walked among men, there lived a fisherman called Ekene. Ekene was no ordinary fisherman. His canoe was said to fly on water like a hawk gliding over the sky. His arms were strong like the roots of the Iroko tree, and his chest was broad like the mouth of the great river Niger. Some even said the sea spirits blessed him at birth, for whenever he cast his nets, they returned full. But greatness always calls for trial. One night, while chasing after a silver fish that sparkled brighter than the moon, the sea grew angry. The wind roared like 1,000 lions, the waves rose like hills, and the thunder clapped as if Amadioha himself struck the clouds with his whip. Ikeen fought the storm, but the sea swallowed him. His canoe broke, his paddle disappeared, and the waters tossed him until his eyes closed. When Ikeen opened his eyes, the world was quiet. He was lying on soft sand, his body wet, his breath heavy. Before him stretched an island unlike any he had ever seen. Palms taller than the sky leaned toward the ocean. Birds with feathers brighter than fire danced in the air. The ground was rich with fruits, yams, and flowers, so sweet their smell carried through the breeze. But something was strange. He saw smoke rising, heard laughter echoing through the trees, but no voices of men, only women's laughter. He staggered forward, and then he saw them. Dozens of women, strong and beautiful, carrying baskets, pots, and spears. Their steps were firm, their bodies glowing like the sun on water. Not a single man walked among them. At their center stood a queen, Adaora. Her beauty was the kind that could blind a man. Her neck carried beads redder than blood. Her eyes were sharp like an eagle, and her skin glistened as if carved from midnight itself. When she spoke, her voice was heavy with authority, yet soft like honey dripping from a calabash. "Stranger," she said, and her voice rolled like thunder across the trees, "you stand on the island of Ada, where no man has lived for 100 seasons. Tell me why the sea has delivered you here." The women gasped when they saw him. Some whispered that he must be killed before he brought curses. Others stared in silence, their eyes wide. They had never seen a man before, only heard stories of them. Ikeen knelt, his voice steady though fear gripped him. "I am Ikeen, a fisherman. The sea carried me here. I am not your enemy. I only seek to live until I can return home." Adaora studied him for a long time. The silence was so heavy that even the birds stopped singing. Finally, she raised her hand. "You will stay until the next full moon. If the spirits accept you, you will live. If not, the sea will claim you back." And so Ikeen remained. Life on the island was strange. The women were hard-working. They farmed, cooked, wove mats, and fished near the shallow shore. Yet there were things they could not do. They struggled to climb tall palms. Their tools were weak. Ikene watched and said nothing, until one day he could not resist. He sprang onto a palm tree, his body moving like a lizard on a wall, and dropped down heavy clusters of palm fruits. The women gasped. "See how he climbs like a spirit," they said. He shaped tools from wood, spears sharper than theirs, and told stories by the fire about lands beyond the sea. The young maidens gathered around him at night, their eyes wide, their ears hungry for his voice. But Adaora, their queen, stood apart. She was bound by duty, yet each time she looked at him, something stirred in her chest, something she fought to kill. Ikene, too, struggled. At night by the waves, he thought, "What if my mother weeps for me now? What if my people call my name at shrines, begging for my return? Should I not go back?" But another voice whispered, "And what of Adaora? What of the fire in her eyes? What of the way your heart beats when she speaks?" Adaora whispered to herself too. "I am queen. I must protect my people from men. Men bring war. Men bring greed. If I let my heart fall, will my people not despise me? Yet why does this man's laughter fill me with peace?" Love and fear danced in their hearts. But love had no time to grow slowly. For one evening, the sea brought danger. Pirates from the mainland, smelling the wealth of the island, arrived with fire and chains. The women screamed. They had no warriors trained for such battle. Adaora lifted her spear, but doubt clouded her. Then Ikeen roared, Give me a weapon. Let me fight for you, or let me die trying. He took a spear and showed the women how to fight. They built traps with fire, rolled stones down the hills, and sharpened sticks. The battle came like thunder. The pirates stormed the shore, their drums of war beating, their chains rattling. But Achain led the women with the fury of a storm. He leapt into the fight, his spear flashing, his voice shaking the trees. Today no man shall take this island unless it is over my dead body. The women fought beside him, Adora at his side, her spear striking with deadly grace. Together they broke the pirates, driving them screaming back into the sea. When victory was won, the women sang war songs into the night. They looked at Iceni, not as a stranger, but as their savior. When the full moon rose, Adora called him into the sacred grove. The spirits have spoken, she said. You may return to your people, or you may stay. The choice is yours. Achain's heart beat like a drum. He saw his village in his mind, his mother, his people. But then he saw Adara, her strength, her beauty, her love she tried so hard to hide. He stepped close and whispered, my home is where my heart is, and my heart is here. With you for the first time, Adara's mask of stone broke. Tears of joy rolled down her cheeks. She touched his face softly and said, then let this island know its first king. From that day, Ikin became the first Onyenwok Ata, the man of Ata. He ruled not as master, but as partner to Adara. And for generations, the people of the coast told this tale, that once the sea brought a man to an island of women. He came as a stranger, fought as a warrior, and stayed as a lover. The story was told with exaggeration. Some said Achain wrestled 10 pirates at once. Others swore the sea calmed itself whenever he paddled. Some said Adara's beauty made the moon hide in shame. But all agreed on one thing, that love, when blessed by courage, can conquer even the fury of the sea.